And let's focus more on what's happening in Minneapolis 1 year later. Next November, city voters will be asked to approve a measure that could dismantle the police department and fold it into a broader Department of Public Safety. Minneapolis police have been mired in controversy for decades and soon will be the subject of a federal Department of Justice investigation. But the campaign to bring change is fraught with complications. Special correspondent Fred de Sam Lazaro has our report, part of our series, Race Matters.
Derek Chauvin's conviction for the murder of George Floyd brought celebration and relief in Minneapolis after nearly a year of anguish, protests, destruction. It was short-lived.
A 10-year-old with a gunshot wound to the head. Why is this community not angry?
Shamanda Greer's grandson, Latavian Garrett Jr., was one of two young children critically injured in separate gunfire incidents in the city's majority black North Side neighborhood.
Because a cop didn't shoot him? Where's everybody at? We only march when it's against the police, huh?
Greer made an impromptu appearance at a news conference called by several city leaders last week to address violent crime, which, like in most American cities, has spiked this year. It's on track to double 2020 rates. Compounding matters, the police department has seen an exodus, with recent retirements, resignations, and leaves of absence. Chief Madara Arradondo pleaded for the community's help.
I am down about a third of our department. We cannot do this work alone, but we've got to come together. This violence cannot continue.
Even as some city leaders and citizens express concern about an understaffed police department just when crime is rising in Minneapolis, critics of the police department say the answer to the spike in violent crime is not necessarily to hire more officers.
I don't think that we need more cops.
Karina Smith heads Yes for Minneapolis, a black-led coalition of citizen groups campaigning to dismantle the police department. They successfully launched the petition drive to put the issue before voters in November.
This council is going to dismantle this police department.
The idea came up soon after Floyd's killing, when 9 of the city's 13 council members pledged to defund the department. Smith says the slogan simply means folding armed police officers into a larger public safety department that can respond with a wider range of skill sets.
A holistic department that includes licensed peace officers if necessary. It includes people being able to better respond to domestic violence calls. It includes people being able to better handle our homeless population, folks who are dealing with addiction.
Why black-led?
I think black-led because people at the forefront and most impacted should be leading the change.
The MPD has long had a fraught relationship with the city's black residents, about 20% of the population, and now including at least 100,000 African immigrants.
The traffic stops in Minneapolis, tend to affect disproportionately black and East African drivers.
Former public radio journalist Mukhtar Ibrahim founded a news startup called Sahan Journal, focusing on issues in the growing immigrant communities. It published this video last December in an article about a traffic stop in 2015 involving 4 Somali youths.
Plain and simple, if you with me, I'm going to break your leg before you can get a chance to run. Be honest. I don't screw around.
Can you tell me why I'm getting arrested?
I feel like arresting you.
Months after one of the 4 youths in the car filed an official complaint, the officer, Roderick Weber, was fired, ostensibly for these comments. But when freelance journalist Tony Webster, working for Sahan Journal, sued to get the full record, it turns out there was a lot more in that exchange, captured on audio from cameras of backup officers who were called to the scene.
Hey, you know what? You remember what happened in Black Hawk Down when we killed a bunch of your folks? I'm proud of that.
Referring to the 1993 U.S. intervention in Somalia, made famous by the movie Black Hawk Down, Weber added, quote, "If we'd finished the job, you guys wouldn't be here right now," unquote.
I think that story really displayed one part of the Minneapolis Police Department culture in terms of how it interacts with, communities, especially, immigrants.
The officers who were present didn't say anything about it, acted as if there was nothing that happened. That's not unusual.
Historian Bill Green says the Weber case is just one example of a pervasive culture of tolerance for racist and violent conduct. Of the nearly 2,600 complaints of police misconduct since 2013, 77 resulted in discipline, mostly suspensions or letters of reprimand. A Minneapolis Star-Tribune report last year found also that in the past 2 decades, 8 terminations were reversed in arbitration, which is required by union contract and protected by state law. None of that will change with the city's ballot initiative.
The power of the police federation, for example, really comes from the state for all intents and purposes. The real place where we need to see systemic change is outside the hands of Minneapolis city governance.
And that's not likely to change in Minnesota's legislature, where rural Democrats and especially Republicans express strong support for the police. Republican Senate Majority Leader Paul Gazelka says an honorable profession has been maligned for the misdeeds of a few.
They are demoralized because there's this big blanket view by too many people that is harmful. We need the police to keep our streets safe.
Yes for Minneapolis campaigner Smith admits the ballot measure won't preempt state law, but she says it would allow the city to reduce the minimum police staffing now required by the city's charter. In time, she says, Minneapolis can reduce its dependence solely on police for public safety.
This first step for folks to be able to say, this is what we want, this is a direction that we need Minneapolis to head in, I think that that's part of it.
Historian Green says it's a tough sell, even in a city known for its liberal politics.
You have to respond to the person who owns a shop on the street corner, who's worried about crime. Whether crime is going to crop up because people feel like now that we're not going to be held accountable because there are no cops around, no police around to deal with it.
We are doubling down on safety beyond policing.
For his part, Mayor Jacob Fry, also up for re-election, opposes the charter amendment. He and Chief Arredondo have promised their own reforms, increased violence prevention efforts, better field training for graduates of the police academy, and no more traffic stops just for low-level violations like broken taillights or expired license tabs that disproportionately affect minority drivers. And punctuating the campaign will likely be crime news that grabs the headlines.
It's 2 kids now. What is going to be a third one this weekend? This is 2 kids now. When are y'all going to step up?
Tragically, a third child was shot even before last weekend arrived. Unlike LaDavian and 9-year-old Trinity Otteson Smith, still battling for their lives, Anaya Allen succumbed to her injuries. She was 6. For the PBS NewsHour, this is Fred DeSanLazaro in Minneapolis.
Fred's report is in partnership with the Undertold Stories Project at University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. Please join us tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on your local PBS station or online for our primetime special, America After George Floyd.